The evening sun was falling behind the hills, painting the sky with fire and blood. The air was dry, and the earth cracked like old skin. In a small African village, a young girl named Amina walked slowly on the dusty road. She was only 17. Her bare feet carried her home after a long day at school. She dreamed of becoming a teacher, a woman of respect, someone who could read and write letters for her people. But Amina did not know that her life was about to change in a way that would break her heart. Her family was poor. Their farm had died because the rains refused to come. Hunger sat in their house like an evil spirit. The goats were sold. The grain store was empty. Amina's father, Baba Sefu, sat in the corner of their mud house, silent like a tree in dry wind. Her mother, Mama Sefu, cooked watery soup. It's the kind that fools the stomach but does not fill it. That night after dinner, Amina's father called her inside. His voice was heavy like drums before war. "Pack your things," he said. Amina looked at him, her big brown eyes full of fear. "Where am I going, Baba?" Her mother turned her face away. She could not look into her daughter's eyes. Tears rolled down her cheeks and fell into the ashes near the hearth. The fire hissed like a snake. "Baba, why are you silent? Tell me, where am I going?" Amina cried. Before her father could answer, they heard the sound of a car sound. The poor rarely hear. It was a black car, big and shiny like a monster from the city. Lights cut through the darkness like the eyes of a lion. The car stopped in front of their small compound. A man stepped out. He was tall, wearing a white suit that shone under the moonlight. Gold chains hung around his neck. His shoes were so clean they reflected the stars. His name was Chief Okora. Name people spoke with fear. He was a billionaire from the city, a man with power. A man who never took no for an answer. Chief Okoro smiled, but it was not a smile of kindness. It was the smile of a snake before it bites. He walked toward Amina slowly, his eyes sharp and cold. "She is beautiful," he said. His voice was soft but dangerous, like the river that looks calm but hides a crocodile. Amina stepped back. Something inside her screamed to run, but her legs were frozen. She looked at her father, then at her mother. "Who is this man? What does he want?" No one answered. Then Amina saw it. The brown envelope. Chief Okoro placed it on the wooden table. 'Twas fat with money. Her father's hands shook as he touched it. Mother covered her face with her wrapper. The truth cut Amina's heart like a knife. They had sold her. "Mama, Baba. No, please, don't do this to me." Amina cried so loudly the night birds flew from the trees. But her father did not speak. Her mother sobbed silently. Chief Okoro grabbed Amina's arm. His fingers were like iron. "You belong to me now," he said. "No. No, Mama, help me," she screamed, kicking and fighting like a trapped goat. But nobody moved. The black car swallowed her like a hungry beast. The door closed. Amina's cries faded as the car drove into the darkness, leaving only dust behind. The moon hid behind the clouds. The wind stopped. Even the night seemed afraid. And so began the story of the girl who was sold. The black car sped through the lonely road, leaving the village far behind. Amina sat in the back seat, her face wet with tears. The stars outside looked cold, like they had turned their eyes away from her pain. She held her torn school bag close. The last piece of her dream. Chief Okoro sat beside her, silent like a crocodile under water. His perfume was strong, but his presence smelled of danger. Amina wanted to jump out, but the doors were locked. The man who drove the car looked like a stone, his eyes fixed on the road, his hands gripping the wheel like claws. After a long journey, the car stopped. Amina looked through the window and froze. Before her stood a golden gate taller than trees, shining under the moon. Behind the gate was a house so big it looked like a palace from the old stories. Bright lights burned everywhere. Guards with guns stood at the gate like statues. The gate opened slowly like the mouth of a beast. Rolled in, and the mansion swallowed Amina, like darkness swallowing light. Inside, the walls were covered with gold. Crystal lights sparkled like stars. Tables shone with diamonds. Everything smelled of power and pride. But to Amina, it did not feel like a home. It felt like a cage of wealth, built with the tears of many souls. Chief Okoro turned to her and smiled with his snake smile. "This is your new home," he said. His voice was soft, but Amina felt its weight like iron chains. She shook her head. "I want to go home," she whispered. Chief Okoro laughed. The sound was dry, like bones breaking. "You have no home now. You belong to me." Amina's heart pounded like a drum. She thought of her mother's tears, her father's silence, and the fat envelope of money. She felt betrayed, abandoned, and lost. Two maids entered, their faces blank like masks. They took her school bag and gave her a silk dress. "Wear this," one said. Her voice had no life in it. Amina refused. "I don't want your dress," she shouted, but the maids forced her. The silk felt heavy on her skin, like a snake wrapping. Around her, Chief Okoro sat on a golden chair, watching her like a hunter watching a trapped antelope. "You are mine now," he said. "In this house, my word is law. If you obey, you will live like a queen. If you disobey," he paused and smiled, "you will regret it." That night, Amina lay on a soft bed, but her heart lay on stones. She cried until her eyes burned. The city lights outside the window looked like ghosts staring at her. She whispered, "To God, please, save me. Please, send me a way out." Days turned into weeks. Chief Okoro gave her gold, clothes, and food, but Amina felt like a bird with broken wings. His kindness was poison. When she spoke too much, he slapped her. When she cried, he laughed. "You should thank me," he said. "I made you someone important. You were nothing before me." One night, Amina tried to run. She climbed the high wall with bleeding hands. Her heart was wild with hope. But the dogs came, big black dogs with red eyes. They dragged her back. Chief Okoro beat her until she could not move. "If you try this again," he said, his voice cold as death, "I will kill you." Amina lay on the floor, her body broken, her soul bleeding. She closed her eyes and wished for death. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "Live, live, and fight." And so the dark days began. Many weeks passed, and Amina lived like a shadow in the golden mansion. Her body healed from the beating, but her heart carried scars no eyes could see. The big house was full of servants, but it felt empty. People walked silently, like they feared something in the walls. At night, Amina heard strange whispers in the corridors. Doors creaked without wind. Sometimes she woke up to see shadows moving across her room, but when she looked again, nothing was there. She asked the maids, "Do you hear the voices?" But they lowered their eyes and said nothing. Fear lived in their faces. Chief Okoro grew sick. It started with small coughs. Then his coughs brought blood. He called many doctors, but no medicine worked. The man who once walked like a lion now crawled like a wounded hyena. His gold chains could not buy him life. One afternoon, Amina sat by the window when the chief's personal servant, an old man with gray hair, came to her quietly. His voice was low, like the rustle of dry leaves. "You should be careful." He said. "Careful of what?" Amina asked. "The spirits," the old man whispered. His eyes shook with fear. This house was built on blood. The master made sacrifices to rise. But the spirits have come to take their payment. Amina's heart turned cold. She thought of the voices, the moving shadows, the fear in the servants' eyes. She remembered how Chief Okoro laughed when she begged to go home. A chill ran through her bones. That night, Chief Okoro called her. His voice was weak, like a dying drum. She entered his room and saw him lying on a golden bed, his skin pale like ashes. His eyes burned with a strange light. "Amina," he said slowly, "I don't have much time. I will give you everything, my gold, my lands, my power. Take this." Key. He held out a black key, heavy and cold like death. Open the secret room behind the third door in the east wing, he said. Inside you will find enough gold to make you a queen. But promise me one thing, burn the black box. Never open it. Amina held the key in her trembling hand. Her mind was a storm. What was in that black box? Why did he fear it? Late that night, when the house slept under the weight of silence, Amina walked through the long corridor. Her feet made no sound on the marble floor. The walls seemed to watch her with eyes of darkness. She reached the third door, unlocked it, and entered. The room smelled of old secrets. Candles burned low, their flames shaking. On the floor lay piles of gold, diamonds that shone like frozen stars, and silver coins that whispered greed. But in the corner on a wooden table stood a small black box. It was plain, but it seemed alive, as if it was breathing slowly. Amina's heart beat like a drum of war. She heard the chief's words in her mind. Burn the box. Never open it. But another voice rose inside her, soft and sharp. Open it and know the truth. Her hands shook as she lifted the box. It felt heavy, like it carried the weight of many souls. She opened it slowly, and what she saw turned her blood to ice. Inside was a small wooden doll, its body pierced with nails. On its chest was a paper with one word, Amina. Her breath broke. Her knees weakened. The truth hit her like lightning. Chief Okoro had planned to sacrifice her. That was why he bought her. That was why the spirits were angry. Suddenly, the candles flickered. The walls groaned. And behind her, a door slammed. Shut. The room filled with a dark whisper. You should not have opened the box. The room shook like thunder. The candles died and darkness swallowed everything. Amina held the black box with shaking hands. The whisper grew louder, like many voices speaking from the earth. You should not have opened the box. You belong to us now. Her heart raced. She ran to the door, but it was locked. The walls cracked and dust fell like rain. She could feel something coming, something older than death. Suddenly, she heard a low laugh behind her. She turned and saw Chief Okoro crawling on the floor. His skin was gray, his eyes burning like fire. He looked less like a man and more like a demon. You broke the rule, he hissed. His voice was not human anymore. Now the spirits will take you too. Amina stepped back, her breath cutting like knives. You wanted gold, didn't you? He laughed. You wanted to know? The truth. Now you will die with me. The black box slipped from her hands and hit the floor. The wooden doll jumped like it was alive. Its nails glowed red, and the paper with her name began to burn by itself. Amina screamed. The house roared like a lion. Gold rolled from the shelves. Diamonds crashed to the floor. The windows shattered, and the wind blew like a hurricane inside the room. Strange shadows crawled out of the walls, thin, long and black like snakes. They circled Chief Okoro, wrapping him in darkness. He screamed as they dragged him down, his voice echoing like thunder. Then he was gone. Amina's legs shook, but something inside her whispered, "Run. Run or die." She grabbed a bag lying near the table and filled it with gold coins as fast as she could. The ground shook harder and fire leaped from the floor. The spirits hissed, their voices crying like lost children. Amina ran toward the broken door. Her feet bled, her breath burned, but she did not stop. The corridor was full of smoke and flames. The mansion was dying, the walls fell like old trees. She ran through the heat, through the screams of spirits, through the sound of death chasing her. Finally, she saw the gate, the golden gate that once looked like a prison, now looked like the mouth of freedom. She ran out just as the mansion exploded behind her with a roar louder than any storm. The night sky turned red as fire ate the palace. Of sin, sparks rose like angry stars. Amina fell on the road, holding the bag of gold close to her chest. She cried, not from pain, but from the weight of everything, the betrayal, the curse. The survival The spirits did not follow her. The earth became silent again. The wind touched her face softly, as if saying, "You are free now." Days later, the news spread like fire. Chief Okoro, the billionaire, was dead. His mansion had turned to ashes. People whispered about curses, about spirits, about the girl who escaped death. Amina did not return to her parents. She left the village and started a new life. With the gold she carried, she built schools for girls who had no chance. She fed the hungry. She gave homes to those who had none. People began to call her Queen Amina, a woman of power and kindness, and in the village where her parents once sold her. Children now sing an old song under the moon. Do not sell your blood for silver, for the gods are watching. And the tears of the innocent never sleep. Amina's story became a tale told by firesides. A story of pain, courage, and freedom. And the old people say, even now, when the wind blows at night, you can hear a whisper, live and fight. Like Amina,